Welcome back to another brand spanking new episode of The Order of the Blazing Horse, the only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of those prophets touched by a horse in a very appropriate, ethereal, third eye kind of way. Very consensual, I might say, and it wasn't sexual. It was intellectual. It was effectual. All the definitely not erectual. Harry Morrow's out here in Oopsalani, joined as always by my co-prof, my co-host with the most.
Back on the West Coast.
Thank you.
Back on the West Coast. Mickey Jacobs here. If you're just joining us, Hooper came to us after the Pistons' terrible 14-win season, and he said, if you guys don't make a podcast, they'll never be good again. We did make a podcast. Then the next season, they won 44 wins. The got knocked out in the first round. Subsequent season, this past season, 60 wins. Number one seed in the East. Knocked out in the second round. Most recently, in 7 games, to the Cavs. Heartbreaking loss. Hell of a season. Can we all agree it was a hell of a season?
The rousing success this team has had over the last couple years. Things that they've knocked off. Winning record, home court advantage, playoff series, playoff win, playoff series win, home playoff win. A lot of great things.
Yeah, it's so funny because people always talk about how progress isn't linear, except for when it is. This is linear. This is actually linear progress, and they've just gotten better and better. And it's thank you. It's due to the personnel. It's due to the coaching. It's due to the new front office. And I think it's due to the prophecy coming true. So,
Hooper did not lie to us. I mean, he didn't say that there wouldn't be any heartbreak because there was heartbreak and there was a gut punch and nut kick in this game 7. Because we can admit game 7 was pretty brutal. A 30-point loss at home, just inches away from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Quite a bummer.
Yeah, it was a bummer in person too, but it was I was at both home losses, and I will not be attending. I don't think I should go to any more Pistons playoff games. I think it's a bad pattern, but it was fun. It was fun to good energy in the building from Pistons fans, not so much the bus loads of Cavs fans. Thanks for that, Dan Gilbert. Love that.
I hate that man.
It's really shitty. Well, yeah, and this is just one of the reasons, but
yet another reason.
Low on the list of reasons, but it's still a reason.
So we want to welcome the chat here as well. Irium from Blue Sky, welcome here. Great Blue Sky contributor in there. Ibrahim says sign and trade Turin for Trey Murphy. I assure you when we get there, we will talk about that possibility. Richard DM for it. Prophecy couldn't be completed this early. What would you guys do with yourselves? Well, I'd probably change to a disc golf podcast. That'd be my guess. But
pivot to disc golf.
It actually wouldn't happen. I don't think I'd do another one because I'm having a great time with my community here. What up, Ibrahim? That's what this episode's all about. We're going to first get into what was so great about this season, how we felt about the season as a whole, how we're feeling about this team as a whole. And then in part 2, we're going to be doing some role Playjan as Trajan Langdon building the team. And I got to emphasize here, this is not like, oh, we'd like to see this. This would be cool if they traded for this player. Mickey and I did a lot of research. We did a lot of checking the rules of the cap, making sure that these contracts fit, looking down the line to see how it'll all go. Unless I mess something up, unless Mickey messed something up, these are realistic scenarios. We're going to be pitching. I talked to Keith Smith on the phone.
How many minutes did you spend on the phone with Keith Smith?
It was a good hour that we talked.
Close to an hour.
We did talk about some stuff.
Did you learn how to pronounce his website?
Spotrac?
Spotrac
is my Danish, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like I have a hard time with it. I have a hard time giving it up. Ibrahim, we hope all is well with you as well, and thank you for the well wishes. No 2K trades from the order. No, we don't do the 2K trades. We try to take the human element into it a little bit as well, because I think that's one thing we do care about. Like a fair share is like the way these players are and stuff, and that's why we wanted to kick this show off by talking about what a great job these guys did this season from Trajan to JB to Cade to every player on this team. The playoffs like showed us some stuff, but 60 wins is awesome. Think about all the highlight moments we had this season, all the good feels we had this season, how much entertainment we got. I got to go to a playoff game. Mickey got to go to a couple playoff games. Like, exciting stuff. By the way, Mickey, the playoff game we went to, we won.
You won.
So let's
maybe
go together and let's see whose aura of the Blazing Horse is more demanding. Although
I think we know. I think we know. I think
we've had one together. We got to go 5 out for Asar, Ibrahim says. And great season, facts renewed my fandom. The fandom's always been there. We just breathed life back into it. Not we, but this team breathed life into it. So, Mickey, do you want to do a real quick run through of all the players or just things that you really enjoyed? What do you want to start with here?
I mean, head of the snake, baby. Got to go Cade. Got to go Deuce. Just cementing himself as a top 5 guy in the league. Top
Finished
5
yeah.
MVP. Teams.
More first place MVP votes than Luka, by the way. Luka got 0. Cade got several. So take what you will.
Listen, teams wait decades to get a player like this. We got him. And now it's just about building around him, which we still haven't, we've been drafting and sort of building slowly and bringing in free agents, but he's the man. He's the man on so many levels. He's just like, by all accounts, a good dude, cares about his squad, and just licked the 3-point allegations.
Over 40 on 8 attempts in the playoffs?
He has one remaining flaw that I believe he will.
He'll turn the page.
By the way,
turnovers.
You turn the page. Well, regular season pretty good.
Yes,
and things are different in the playoffs. And I'm not saying that all of his playoff turnovers were due to gravity or due to whatever. Like, it's still a thing to deal with. But he's incredible. He's incredible. He's amazing. I think another story. This is not in any particular order. Was Danis.
Oh yeah.
His rise from 2-way guy to playoff starter.
Yes.
Has someone, any researchers in the chat want to tell me, has that ever happened in a season? Has a player ever gone from a 2-way guy at the beginning of the season to a playoff starter? I'm sure it's happened.
There's no way.
I don't know. I don't know.
The 2-way thing is too new for that to have happened. Also, real quick, going back to Cade, OG says we've waited decades for a player like this. Let's be real. Truly.
For sure.
He's going to likely be the best Piston since Isaiah Thomas, if he's not already there right now, depending on like how you view Ben Wallace or what he contributed. But
number 1 overall picks are not created equal, and we got a winner in him. So then there's the Danis thing. Do you want to jump in, or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I'll take over next one.
Harry, take the wheel. Yeah.
My guy right over here, Asar Thompson. So many questions about is the offense good enough? How insane was his playoff run? This dude finished 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year behind only bigs. Like, in a league that has Victor Wembanyama in it, Asar Thompson might be like the most other disruptive defensive player in the league. It is unreal watching him play. Still gets a terrible whistle. I have to say that whistle is insane that he's getting in some of these games. But like, I believe in the kid. Like, he's so incredible. When we're looking at how this team's going, it's fun stuff. It's fun stuff to see him growing and to see him be so smart and to see him be such a menace and just do some of the things he does. He makes me jump out of my chair at some of those blocks and some of those steals
all the time. And he's a leader too. He's emerged as a leader on this team, which I think is so cool.
It's truly out of this world. Irium says that Asar is like Michael Curry, but really, really good. It's very funny. And Ibrahim says Asar is so talented. Stocks out of this world. Absolutely. The man is wild. I regardless of playoff performance, I got to give Jalen Duren his flowers. The dude's probably going to get some All-NBA votes. He's an all-star, first-time all-star, regular season 20-10. He showed some serious stuff, some serious growth throughout the years. He's 22. Incredible season for Jalen Duren. Sour note for sure on the end, but let's not forget how many games he won us and how fun it was watching him slam on people and how fun it was watching him use his handle and get around and show off that midi a little bit. I'll let you go on to the next one so we don't have to get to the dark side of the JD.
No, I mean, you got to bring it up. And by the way, he was so much fun. the dunks, the face up game, the tongue action. My God. And then having the greatest playoff drop since I think Wilt, who went from 50 to 30. I saw Koo say that while he was streaming with Kofi, so that's pretty wild. But again, Pistons basketball continues to be a roller coaster. Duncan Robinson was so, and I'm gonna hit the vets with a two-hander. Duncan and Tobias, both huge for us. At a certain point, Tobias ran out of gas, but the 8-game 20+ point streak, no one thought it was possible. It's pretty amazing, especially with Duran's struggles. And Duncan, just so smart, so good from deep, and really just a good voice for the team. And also a guy who can put it on the deck, who can have some good defensive moments, even though he's not really considered a good defender. And of course, Paul Reed.
Oh my
B-ball
God.
Paul.
Oh my God.
B-ball Paul.
Playoff
my
God.
God.
Playoff God, B-ball Paul.
Truly.
What percent of Paul Reed's games do you think were incredible this year? Was it 98? Because I feel like almost you could probably count on your hands the number of games that Paul Reed played more than 10 minutes in that were a disappointment. I bet you could count it on 2 fingers, is my guess. The world's smallest.
He was really great.
Violin. Richard Diemfort says Duncan's post-game 7 media spot was great. He was impressed. He seems like he'd be a great mentor. Yeah, I think Duncan's an incredible player, incredible asset to this team, and he just seems like a great guy in general. Once again, I'm going to pivot away from the players real quick, and I'm going to get back into it, but I want to talk about front office. I think Trajan Langdon did an incredible job getting us that 21st pick in the Jaden Ivey trade, also getting off of Jaden Ivey. I think the vets he signed were incredible, especially like dealing with what we had to deal with at the end. I think not going for the big trade at the deadline was also good. I know a lot of people out there like they should have gone huge at the trade deadline. They really blew it. They blew their chance at a title. I don't think a secondary scorer was going to get this team a championship this year, because it wasn't going to change how the front court played. I don't want to dwell too much on the front court in a negative way, but I think Trajan's patience going into this offseason is going to pay dividends, and I think it was smart on his part. I also want to give a mad shout out to JB, who I thought showed a lot of creativity. I thought he did some very interesting things with after timeout plays and sideline out of bounds in like inbound plays, and I think while he did challenge like crazy during the regular season, he showed restraint throughout the playoffs doing that. And I also think like just his ability to get this team to play the sort of defense they played, to be on the same page and to like be looking out for each other. It sounds like everybody loves JB. And every time I hear JB talk, he sounds very much like a father figure you'd probably want to have in your life. So I'm so thrilled. He's our guy.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the Trajan thing because, whether you wanted a bigger move or a littler move, because for a while I was like, it would have been great to get Io, would have been great to get Kobe. They were had for not that much. This wasn't going to be our year, and could we have made the Eastern Conference Finals? Sure. Could we have maybe even made the finals? Maybe. But if you look at what's happening in this OKC Spurs series, and I say this as a homer, it's a different game completely. We're not there yet, and whether you want to chalk it up to the front court or just the experience or the rest of the roster makeup or whatever, Kobe White or Io Dosunmu were not going to be the difference between a championship or not. You can feel free to disagree with that, but could we have gotten a little further? Maybe. Do I think it was our year to win a championship? Most likely not.
I'm right there with you. So like that's where
and those are assets that would have gone to guys who you would either have to extend or they would just walk.
Right.
So, it could just be a couple of seconds and whatever, but still, I just think principally, what's the point?
It's a bummer that Herr was hurt, but like the fact of the matter is he was hurt. Like he hurt his adductor, which is like in that groin area. Good luck coming back from that and like playing pretty well. Like I think that the Pistons would have played better if they'd gotten somebody who was going to be able to ball handle a little bit and like see how that would go in the playoffs. But they certainly couldn't be a defensive liability because that turned out to be a problem in the playoffs as well, like people getting hunted. Not unlike James Harden did in the fourth quarter of Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We did have some problems on our team with that. I want to give another shout out to a player that really blew my mind this year, and that is Wu. Javonte Green. I love Wu. I can't believe he came in on the contract he did at the size he was with the expectations that he had and was one of the best stealers off the bench in the entire NBA. Corner three percentage was solid. I think he finished the year 37% from the 3-point line in general. Some great slams, great shots of him with his baby on the bench. Just like so sweet. So happy to have Wu on this team. Great nickname. I absolutely love it.
Call me a casual. I was not familiar with Wu's game, and it was so impressive to see him just hop on and immediately see, oh yeah, that's a Piston. That guy is a Piston. The active hands, the effort, the hustle plays, and the stay readiness too. You know, really awesome player.
Who's your next one? Anything else that you want to give out?
No, we can move on. We talked about Danis. Bit of a roller coaster. Karis LeVert was pretty steady for us in the playoffs.
Showed up, like legit showed up
for
in
real.
The playoffs.
And not everybody did. So you gotta give Karis when Karis is due. LeVert reverted our expectations, and he really it was again, it wasn't always pretty, but the signing made sense. I don't know if it was always the plan, but once the Malik thing happened and we didn't get THJ back, it made a lot of sense. And solid defense, and one of few Pistons who could just get hot.
Yeah,
and get hot. He did when we hit the shooting, the 3-point shooting, and the D. The really, really solid stuff.
They wasted his 24-point game. Richard points out it's true. They certainly did. It was a bummer of that. Speaking of playoff performers, got to give it up to Marcus Sasser, who showed up when he needed to. Wasn't great all the time, but like dude didn't get a lot of minutes. Like just in general. I love Sass. Had some great moments. Had some great times. Happy with him on the squad. We haven't even mentioned Beef Stew. What a defensive season Isaiah Stewart had, and what growth offensively that guy had. Like, crazy growth. Hands got a lot better. Finishing got a lot better. The 3-point showed back up. The best, I believe, at the rim field goal percentage allowed in the league by like 9% in the league.
He's like what, 6'8",
9%, 6'8", 6'9", just
crazy,
wild. And
awesome.
And Ron Holland, bro, how about the defensive improvement from Ron Holland?
Really great, really fun. A lot of energy, forcing turnovers on screens, great hands. Just always, another guy who just is Piston.
Yeah, man, and also the drawing the offensive fouls as well. Like really,
that's what I'm saying.
Really great at it. And like some great finishes. Like the 3-point ball looked to get better near the end of the season. Didn't like kick off all that hot, but like just good defense. This team's defense was incredible. That is Detroit basketball. Did we miss anybody? Tolu Smith, shout out to you for getting onto the team, playing good ball when you're on the team. I think that covers it.
Covers it.
That gets all the guys. That gets this whole squad. Oh, shout out to the Pistons strength coach as well, because he just won strength coach of the year in the NBA. So big shout out to him for getting these guys big and balling and ready for the playoffs.
You know what, though? The conditioning did seem better from last season playoffs to this season playoffs. That was way more of a conversation. And for whatever the failings were in this postseason, I don't think it was that.
Yeah. The only guy who missed like significantly more time to injury than I think he typically did is Tobias Harris. That's pretty much it. And I know
he's getting up there. He's
34. He's going to be 34. But I know no one's going to be missing time when you like and subscribe to the podcast, because you will know exactly when we will be on the air by following there. We're up to 226 in the subscriber game. We're trying to get to 300. So tell a friend, get us up there. We're trying to get to 300, just like Mickey on the bowling Allie, Mickey, what a weekend. You rolled 222 this weekend?
I had a 222 this week. We're still establishing. I love to pop off during establishing, but
I forgot establishing. This is you.
My previous week was kind of meh, so
Okay.
it's gonna balance out. But I working on some form stuff. Got another ball to play with. Always need more balls to play with on the lanes. I'm feeling good about the season. Harry, how's your disc golf game? Real quick, check in.
I'm going through some.
You're working on some stuff too.
I'm going through some turnover right now. So my game today was pretty poor, but the game I played the other day, I read this book, Golf is Not a Game of Perfect, written by the sports psychologist, and it's like really trying to put in my brain how to stay positive and how to just like enjoy the game, and that'll help your game overall. I had like this epiphany when I was blazing some horse, if you catch my drift, and that has also when I do it, it's made a major change in my game. So I think come later this year, I'm going to be feeling pretty good overall. And I'm already feeling pretty good because I get to go out and play some disc golf. But I'm not quite a champion yet. Pistons aren't quite champions yet, but we do have a champion in our mix. In our midst, I got to say, Mickey, when you sent me this picky, I said, ooh, finger licky. Good. Mickey, please explain what I'm looking at right here.
Well, as Harry likes to say in the intro, I'm on the West Coast out here, but I'm from Michigan, and not most people, but a lot of people in Michigan, a lot of people in the Midwest, we play euchre, and I love euchre. Play it a lot. There's an app on my phone that I play quite a bit. Sometimes when I'm in Michigan, I try to go find a local game. Went to a meetup at Gatekeeper Games in Berkeley. And came out on top, number one, wearing the crown. Look at that.
Look at this guy.
Look at that Burger King crown glistening. Smoked these fools. Smoked them all.
That's so crazy.
Blazed those horses, man. It was so much fun. There's no replacement for in-person games. Anyway, thank you for that aside. I'll take. You got to take the dubs where you can get them. Basketball season's over. You gotta.
It's very important. If you're a euchre fan in the chat, give us some oops. Give us some horse. Irium's got it. What a game! He says it is a Michigan game. Some of my friends don't believe in the true gamesmanship of it, but it is a game and a half, and it does take skill. Okay, great. We got all the pleasantries out of the way. Now it's time to get into some harsh realities. And the harsh reality is the Pistons team was not ready to compete for a championship team this year. We hope they were. It didn't seem to be the case. They did show a lot of growth. Duran showed a lot of growth. Isaiah Stewart showed a lot of growth. Osar showed a lot of growth. Cade showed a lot of growth. Ron showed a lot of growth. All the young guys showed a ton of growth. It just didn't quite get there, and we saw flaws. And everyone's like, it's the same. We all knew this was the problem. Not enough shooting. That wasn't really the problem. Spacing kind of was a problem, but the bigs were a little bit of a problem. Like, sometimes defensive lapses were a little bit of a problem. The ball handling and the turnovers were a little bit of a problem. So,
lack of creation outside Cade, bit of a problem.
A little bit of a problem. And Trajan, in his press conference, said as much. He said that they're going to focus on getting ball handling and three-point shooting in here, which is important. He also said he was pretty intent on signing Duran and Asar back. That seemed like the big stuff for him. So we'll see. Duran's not getting a max. There's no way he's getting a max, not from the Pistons, at least. We'll see if some teams in free agency want to offer him something high. What that does, he'll be a restricted free agent. That is a risk, but that is the pressing need. OG unnamed YouTube user brought up that the game theory with Sam Vecini and Bryce of Motor City Hoops and the Pistons Pulse, they did their Pistons breakdown today, which Mickey and I did both watch, which was very funny for us because they mentioned a lot of the stuff that we had been working out already in here. So it's great that our minds are aligned and like people see what we got to fix. We know what we got to do. We know what type of players we got to go after. Sam is pretty big on it has to be Asar or Duran, one of the two. I believe Bryce is a little bit more into that it can work. We think that it can work, but it's also going to be like kind of tricky. Pistons have a lot going on coming into this offseason. Here's what we do know they have. They have options. They also have a trade exception that they have to use by July 7th from the Dennis Schroeder trade and from the Dario Saric situation. That's worth $8.5 million, 8,677,600. Uh, they have roughly 135 million of active cap already there. They have a lot of cap holds that they got to deal with. Duren's a restricted free agent. Tobias is an unrestricted free agent. Devontae Green, unrestricted free agent. Kevin Huerter, unrestricted free agent. Wendell Moore is a restricted free agent. And other than that, we got some midfield. They got to get some shooting. They have a draft pick, number 21 overall, which is a great move by Trajan Langdon to get that trade. Coming this way, that's where we stand. So Mickey and I have each come up with a couple as we roll Playjan, what we would do as the GM. Richard says, now we got to hear about Laurie and MPJ for another 1 to 3 months. OG says, I think every team not guarding a star was a huge problem in the playoffs. Both those things are true. So Mickey, let's first cover this question as the you, Trajan Langdon. Do you think it's more important to bring back Duren or bring back Asar or try to get both into the fold? Where do you stand on it all?
Personally, I think it's more important to bring back Asar. But my belief is that he is going to try to bring back both.
Yes, I'm with you. And here's what I understand, and this is another point that was brought up in game theory, that well, pardon me for that, it was so gross. While Asar was a better playoff performer, like he really showed up in the playoffs, and he's, I think, a better player than Jalen Duren is. It is easier to find a wing that fits with Jalen Duren than it is to find a stretch center in the NBA. Like, straight up. I get that. My pushback on that is, while that's true, it's easier to find a wing that can play with Duren and maybe make this stuff work out. It doesn't change how effective Ausar Thompson was as a defender in the playoffs. Like, he was sensational.
And how effective Duren was not.
Exactly. Right. So what you're saying is, well, we can find a guy who can shoot threes. I don't know if that changes what Duren is, and you're still going to pay Duren a lot of money. Like,
yeah, and I'm of the opinion, and part of, if you listen to that Game Theory podcast, they did put a lot of those Duren 29-point plus performances under a bit of a microscope, and surprise, surprise, a lot of them are against shitty competition or centerless teams. So, and personally, I think where I'm at, because for me, as a Pistons fan, the last couple of years have been so interesting to me in terms of the difference between the regular season and the playoffs. And it is such a gap. Things do change drastically. And I would gladly sacrifice 5 to 10 regular season wins for a team that is, better chances during the postseason. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like what I look at is playoff success, and I see something special in Asar Thompson, special and affordable on top of that because of the offensive flaws, and I believe in his ability to grow. I believe in his ability to be a better finisher and to go up for more free throws, and I think that'll change. And I think bigs on the whole are going to become more stretch focused as the NBA moves forward, as like these kids get older. So you can potentially find a more affordable option down the line. I like Duren a lot. I think he's a great player. I don't think he has any of the elite skills that Asar has. And I don't think it's a guarantee of any success that if you bring in a spacer who can help like space the floor, it'll make him like a next level player.
Right. And he's young. There's a lot of time to grow. But as they were saying on Game Theory, not to just keep quoting that podcast the whole time, but they feel more confident that Duren could develop a mid-range jumper than he could improve drastically on the defensive end. And I don't know. If he's banging threes, that's one thing. But if he can't be a serviceable rim protector and rebounder in the playoffs, what good does that archetype do you?
Yeah.
Because you can't really point to anyone else of his ilk that is making the kind of money he's going to want. He's not such a gifted passer. He's not such a dominant force in the postseason. And when you look at who he was dominant against, it's, against weaker teams. So these are the concerns, and again, it's just a lot of, not to take anything away from his growth, because he did have a second or third runner up for most improved. But the playoffs are a different story, and Cade is showing he's ready. And, if you're going to say gun to my head, Asar or Duren, I think your point about elite skills is great. And Duren, are you such a dominant force is that your X factor? Because that really wilted in the playoffs.
I agree. So we'll get to some situations where Jalen Duren's traded on this team. We'll also talk about some where he's back. And Richard asks, what are the odds the Lakers or basement tier teams, it can only be the Lakers, the Bulls, or the Nets, bid up Duren, and how much can other teams offer if he makes All-NBA? I don't think the All-NBA thing changes for other teams. I think it only changes how much the Pistons can offer him in general. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty positive that's the case. I think the most other teams can offer him is like 170, something in that range. And here's the risk. If you're another team, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. If you're the Lakers or you're the Bulls and you're offering that, the Pistons have a week to decide if they want to match that or not. During that week, all the other free agents get signed. Literally everybody gets signed. And the Pistons can be like, we're just going to sign him. And then those teams are SOL, right? Also, if that's the case, you could talk to like another team and be like, hey, are you interested in having him? We can do a sign and trade at that situation. So offering Duren that contract is risky because it ties up your money. And if it seems more likely that the Pistons are going to sign him, which Trajan was telegraphing, and he hasn't let us believe that he doesn't mean what he says in a situation, it's an incredibly risky move. There's other players that are RFAs that I'll talk about one because I brought him up to Mickey. We're not actually going to make this move, although I do think the Pistons could consider this, if I'm being honest. Tari Eason is a RFA that I'm pretty positive the Rockets wouldn't necessarily match, because they're in a little bit of cap and positional trouble, and they might not want to pay him all that much money. So they might just walk from that or do a sign and trade and get something back for him. But it's because of their cap situation. It's because of the roster situation. Pistons aren't in that. Pistons have optionality. There's another player that we will bring up who's an RFA in some of our scenarios here. Ian McCullough says, I think that Duren will get... Also, what up, Ian? Good to see you in the chat. I think Duren will get something similar to Jalen Green's contract, short but well compensated. It would allow him to refine his game and re-enter free agency in 3 years. That's kind of where we're leaning. I think as well. In either of ours, neither of us have 5 years. We might have 3 or 4 years. I
think it's 4. I think it's generally 4. Or 4 or 3.
Yeah, it's so 3 or 4.
Let me check my second one. I actually think one of mine might be 2. Maybe it's meant to be 3.
OG, yeah, you can't sign and trade once Duren signs an offer sheet with another team, but the team is also in constant negotiations with the player. So we could see up to that before that. But that's a great point of clarification. If Duren signs with another team, then you do your sign and trade situation. But I don't think it's going to come out of the blue. If the Lakers want Duren, it basically would need to be a sign and trade for what will go down. That's likely true, and who knows what the Lakers can even offer. It will clear up a lot for Detroit as far as cap space goes. OG, I know that you have an actual plan in mind. Ian, if you have a plan, Richard, if you have a plan, Aaron, if you have a plan, whoever's in the chat, if you have a plan, we want to hear it. We also want you to like and subscribe. Let's not forget about that.
Oh, yeah, we do. About that. We certainly do.
We know who you guys all are already. But without further ado, Let's get into our plans. Mickey, do you want to go first or second here?
Yeah, I'll go first with one of mine just because it's a little divisive, and I don't know, maybe a little disappointing for some people. But this one is "We Let the Dogs Out." That's the title of this plan, this offseason plan. So this, spoiler alert, this involves trading the bulk of the dog pound in Stu and Duran. So jump in, correct me, Harry, if I have the order wrong of these operations, but we'll get into the finer points. So the big headline, one of two really big headlines here is signing and
But let's start with the draft here. We got to draft.
We start with the draft. Yeah. Okay, we're drafting Sturts. Well, we sort of I've deferred to Harry's opinion on this just because I'm not super draft focused. I've watched some stuff. I've watched some tape. I think he looks good.
This is another thing about the game theory is they mentioned the 5 players that I think
Harry
are the best
has
option.
Sent me tape on. Yeah,
and, even six, but with Alan Graves on there as well. But,
yeah, Graves. Drafting Sturts, BPA in this situation. We're gonna need another shooting guard,
ball handler,
really good finisher.
Dude, so if you guys don't know, Bennett Sturts, he's like a senior at Iowa. He played at Drake beforehand. He was a better passer at Drake. He didn't have as many passing opportunities at Iowa. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's a menace from 3. His finishing at the rim for a guy who doesn't dunk is 70%. 6'4", finishes 70% of the rim. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I just want to jump in real quick. There's a lot of Blaze Horse talk going around. I just want to clarify that does not mean smoke heroin. I just want to get out. I just want to get out in front of that because I will not be clipped. I will not be aggregated.
I should have put a comma there. Blaze Horse. I'm calling you guys the
Blaze,
horse.
Comma horse. There you go. There you go. Comma. It's amazing the difference a comma can make. So okay, we're drafting Sturts. Get that right out of the way. Then it's about the 4 of the future. And this is a name that people like a lot. Denver has Peyton Watson. They are expensive. This is assuming they want to hang on to AG, the guy who helped get them their championship. But they're going to need youth and they're going to need defense. And so we are going to go ahead and trade Beef Stew, breaks my heart, for Peyton Watson.
That's a sign and trade because Peyton Watson is the RFA that we alluded to before. And Denver's cap situation is a nightmare right now.
Yep. So we are trading Stu for Peyton Watson, and we're going to sign him for 3 years, $80 million, because I feel like that's something that Denver can't do. Might seem like a bit of an overpay, but he looked really good when Jokic was out. And he's a two-way guy, feels very Detroit to me. He's 6'9". And then we're bringing Tobias back to come off the bench behind Peyton Watson, $15 million a year. And then here's the biggie. We're going to do a sign and trade to get Duran for Miles Turner. I kind of wanted AJ Green in there as well, but I don't think it's realistic. So
if it happens, great.
But this is the thing. You are trading a 22-year-old first-time All-Star, but you are also getting a spacing big who protects the rim. And we didn't really have that. I agree that Miles Turner is not the best rebounder in the world, but guess who's pretty good at that? Peyton Watson. Guess who else is pretty good at that? Asar Thompson. Guess who else is really good at that? Cade Cunningham. So that's the 4th of 5 moves. And the 5th move is to do what a lot of people wanted to do at the trade deadline, is sign Kobe White to the non-tax MLE. So let's review real quick here and talk about what that looks like. Starting lineup: Cade Cunningham, Kobe White, Asar Thompson, Peyton Watson, Miles Turner. Only non-shooter is Asar. Bench: Danis, Duncan, Ron, Tobias, Reed. Danis is your backup point guard. Duncan coming off the bench, kind of how he was always supposed to. Ron gets to develop, and Tobias gets to feast off the bench, and Paul Reed gets to be the backup big instead of the third big. And then our break glass in case of emergency guys are Sasser, an expiring Karras, Tolu, Chaz, and Sturts.
I like it. I love this 5 out. Like truly, I'm super into it.
4 out. 4 out.
Sorry, 4
Yeah.
out around it. I chat probably knows and Mickey knows I'm not like the hugest Kobe White fan, but I don't hate him either. And here's one thing that I do love about it is that second unit of Danis, Duncan, Ron, Tobias, and Reed. When Danis was at his best was when he was in the starting lineup with Duncan, with Tobias, with Asar, who Ron is the light version of. And now we got Paul Reed in there, who they have great chemistry together. So I love the opportunity there. I'm going to bring up some stuff from the chat here. Where are we at? Ian, I'm going to read your whole thing in a bit.
I want to address that in a second.
Say it again.
Well, I just want to address the allegations that the spirit of Satan has entered me. Hashtag free Stu. So Stu, I believe, is the heart of this team. He was, and by the way, this was also his first postseason, his first actual postseason. He was pretty ineffective, with the exception of a couple games in the Magic series. And yeah, it's just, and it hurts to give up on both him and Duren, but I think Peyton Watson is really good and just a guy who does more than just offense or defense. And can you speak to the money as far as Stu for Peyton?
So here's I'm going to combine these two. Richard DM for it says, is it a straight up trade Stu for Watson? Is it close enough to match? And OG says, I'm pretty sure Watson is staying in Denver and moving on from Braun and or Johnson. Sorry to rain on your plan. First of all, we don't know at all what's going to happen. Like there's so many weird things happen. So this is a suggestion. And like, I'm sure that Denver would like to keep Peyton Watson. Denver is in a difficult position. So if they're going to move on from Brown, good fucking luck, because that contract sucks. It's like 4 years, 80 or 90 million or something like that for a guy who got stomped on in the playoffs. Moving that contract is going to be tough. Yeah, you could move on from Cam Johnson, who actually shot pretty okay for them in that position, which is something they need. But the defense isn't great. And what's Denver's biggest problem? Defense. Right? So I get that they could move on from him. That does make sense. And I get that they want to retain Peyton Watson a whole bunch.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense to me. What they also need is center depth, because they don't have it. Their backup center is Jonas Valanciunas, who doesn't want to be there, and his money's not guaranteed. And Denver's in cap hell. So Denver can move on from that contract, be done with him. Now they have no other center behind Nikola Jokic. Now you could bring in Stu, which will be less money than what Peyton Watson's going to get, who's also young, who's also on a team option of $15 million the year after that. So you have center depth, you have youth, you have defense, you have a guy who can stretch. That's beneficial, and it cleans up the books for them. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that it'll work out that way, but it's definitely something that Denver would consider, considering how difficult their other trades might be to move off of the books. Who's to say? I think it's a possibility at the very least. So there is that. Plus, you could sweeten the pot. Plus, the Pistons could also do the RFA thing with Peyton Watson, and that would really put Denver in a bind in order to be like, okay, now you have to trade these players, or you have to move on from this. It's a conversation that can be had. Let me move down, see if I missed anything else. First, where are we here? OG says that plan is fun. You need a lot of help from other team. Oh, wait, that's not to that plan is my guess. I'm pretty sure Watson's staying in Denver, moving on Brown. Can we blah, 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 blah. Doc Hammertime says some of the fouls were like, what are you doing? Just hurting this team. For Stu, 100%. Also,
the off-ball stuff, the off-ball, just throwing dudes to the ground. You can't be doing that.
It's insane. Also, Doc, heart is with you. You're going through some tough stuff. Shout out Mason. Ian says first smoking heroin, then trading Stu. Shaking my head. Richard
crazy
says,
it's crazy what a 2 Game 7 series can do to a person.
Richard says, I'm not sold on Turner, but otherwise he likes it. Here's the thing. Miles Turner has gone to a championship. He has been a piece to a championship, and the spacing really, really helps out this team. And
like the that's the thing to me too, is the shot blocking and not just leaning so heavy. And I think Cade benefits so much from the spacing, as does Asar. I think this has the potential to unlock Asar. And to Harry's point earlier, spacing bigs who can protect the rim are not easy to come by. So that's, and by the way, he's 29 and a half. This isn't a forever solve, but this gives you 3-ish years to figure that out
on a pretty okay contract. I might add.
By the way, less than what Duren is going to want. And when it comes to, I guess my question to that is, and feel free to disagree with me, but how much better do you think Duren is going to be than Turner over the next 3 years, given how much money he's going to want?
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I got there.
Miles Turner's contract over the next couple of years, 26 mil, 27 mil, 29 mil. It's not so bad.
Pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. And again, this is to me a point where does Duren have more value than Miles Turner in the league? I think so.
Sure.
But this right now is about fit with Cade and prioritizing that over, just hanging on to Duren because he's young and has potential, and the fact that they're best buds.
Right. Doc says, are we worried about Watson's games played? 80 in 23, 24, 68 in 24, 25, 54 this year. I mean, 54 this year is a concern, but 68 and 80 is pretty fucking good. Like 80 is missing 2 games. 68 is missing 14 games. Like it's not that big a deal. 54 is missing a lot, but
yeah. And by the way, you could draft someone else. Yeah. You could draft Cenac, who's like kind of a
4-5,
kind of a 4-5-ish guy.
You could draft Joshua Jackson, who I really like. Not the most athletic guy, but I love smart players. Like I'm a fucking sucker for smart players. Another reason why I love
that big brain.
I'm so into it. And if this, I'm gonna shout out Motor City Hoops. If you watched Joshua Jackson's tape on Motor City Hoops or on No Ceilings, shout out No Ceilings NBA as well. Joshua Jefferson's playmaking and passing is fucking unreal. Like it's so incredible. So that's what I'm down. And if he can just hit corner threes, that's great. He shot 34.6% from 3 this year. That's fine by me. So we'll see. Ibrahim says if we trade Duren, if we draft Cenac Jr., we're good. That's one of my plans as well. That's in my alt plan that I'll do.
Okay.
But
are you ready? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm ready to go into it.
I feel like we spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time on that plan.
We're gonna spend a lot on all of them. I want to read. I want to read Ian's because Ian had in here. He says something like 3 for 110 for Duren, or 4 for 130 to 135 for Duren, and a Sengunis near max for Asar, 5 for 185. Extend Stu, pick up Dunk, re-sign Harris at a lower salary, trade Sasser. I like those steps. It just you don't get your second guy. That's the thing. Is like, who's your second star? Are you just hoping it's gonna be one of those guys? That's fine. It's just like I want more steps in there as well. I don't hate
shooting
any
or
of that
shooting
stuff.
And yeah.
I do want Dunk on here for the long haul. Doc says outside of Caden Sard, who we think are the most must keeps on the roster.
I mean, Danis? Just because of the contract?
Yeah, the Danis contract is so good. It's
Paul Reed? Paul Reed.
Another one, but that's
I mean, and I'm not being funny. I think just the contract and the value that they provide.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm in a rush to get rid of Stu. If I were to buy a jersey right now, I would buy a Stu jersey. He's one of my favorite players. I just we're at a point where we have to make some moves, and you can't do that by trading Marcus Sasser and Karis LeVert.
Yeah,
it's not. We're not going to delude ourselves into thinking that that's something other teams are chomping at the bit for.
We love these guys. Like truly been singing these guys' praises, been doing, don't you say that about my boys, about these dudes.
Yeah. We have whole segments dedicated to how much we love.
It is nothing personal against them at all. Like I think all these guys played well. I'm just trying to be like doing this from a business standpoint, right? It's a lot to think about. So there's that. So you traded Stu and Duren. Oh wait, do you have something?
By the way, just just one to Richard DM's point. I think I don't think either of my plans involve trading Ron. For the record,
you're there.
I love Ron.
Yeah, Doc says we should be actively trading everybody or shopping everybody else. You got to be looking for the plans here. You have options. You got to figure them out. All right, I'm going to go into my plan, and I'm going to give a 1A and a 1B version of it. While Mickey traded both Duren and Stu, I'm going to trade Duren once, and I'm going to trade Stu once. We're going to start with the trading Stu one first. Order of operations on my plan. Trade Stu and Levert and 3 firsts for Trey Murphy III to New Orleans Pelicans. Both these plans are doing this Trey Murphy to New Orleans Pelicans. And the reason why it could work, because Troy Weaver's there, Joe Dumars is there, and Joe Dumars drafted, and he traded up to draft Stu. So there's love there. And you give those picks. They need a center.
Harry, is one of those picks this year's pick?
In this case...
Or these future picks?
Do I have it on here? I think this one is one of those is this year's pick.
21st pick. They're future picks.
Do I have it on there? It doesn't matter.
Well, are you drafting anybody?
It could be. It doesn't matter if it is or not. Okay. If it's not, then as far as drafting goes, here's the guys I'm interested in. Sturts, pardon me, Senek, the 2 we mentioned already. Joshua Jefferson mentioned already. Kareem Lopez is an option as well as my 4. Who's my 5th? Oh my God. Why am I blanking on this already? I love Cam Carr. If he falls, Cam Carr, but he ain't going to fall.
Sounds like he ain't falling.
Yeah. He ain't going to fall. The measurements are
falling like that tree ball. Oh my God.
It's freaking crazy. So that's number 1. Trade Stu for Trey Murphy III. Second thing, bring back Wu. Sign Wu for the Vetman or for like 2 for $10 or something. Bring him back on a pretty low contract.
Harry's been saying Wu for 2 all season.
All year. Wu for 2. Make the shirts. Bring back Wu for 2. Renounce everybody who's not JD. Sign JD to a 124 contract. So that would be like 31, 31, 31, 31. If he's down, that'd be great. Otherwise, if you got to do like 4 for 130 or something, build it up. But first contract year, 31. It's still a tradable contract. It's where we're at, and that's what we're gonna do with him. It'd be great to do sending, but that's where I have it. I have first year $31 million. Next step, sign Tobias Harris to the 9 taxpayer MLE. Bring him back. Final step, and Doc says, sorry, Ron's got to go while he still has value. He doesn't have the right fit to make an impact here. I disagree. He doesn't, because he essentially is a starter coming off the bench. But in this case, I'm now trading Ron to Denver for Peyton Watson. In a similar thing, because now you get even younger, even more athletic, even more defensively focused, and straight up even cheaper with a high upside player at 20 years old. So that'd be my pitch as far as it goes. The 1B version of that, if you're trading Duren, and to be quite frank, I prefer this one for money reasons and for spacing reasons. It's pardon me. You draft Chris Senek. That's the first thing. Chris Senek Jr. First thing, get him. He's going to be your 3rd or 4th big, but a development project. You get to develop this kid instead of starting him right away. Sign Javonte Green to 2 for 10. Great. Sign Tobias for a 3x40 contract. Not the tax MLE, but a 3x40 contract. So you got him for 15, 13, 12 over the years. So you got him till he's like 36, 37 years old. Then you sign and trade Duren for TM3 straight up. That's the trade. You have all-star, potentially all-NBA Duren. They need a starting center so bad. So bad.
I think that's more realistic in terms of we know Weaver loves Duren. And you're right, he drafted Stu too, and he moved up to trade him. But I just think the value that Trey has around the league, I think he's going to want, as they said in game theory, probably going to want one of Asar or Duren.
Right. And it's to me, it's Duren. Give him Duren.
Well, and you're starting Stu in this scenario.
Right. It just to me that makes sense. So now, and then now and then you do like the Peyton Watson thing as well. Or did I already cover that one?
Ron for Peyton, right?
Ron for Peyton Watson. So similar thing, right? And Ibrahim says TM3 for Duren is such a realistic trade for both. on a money standpoint alone, on a fit standpoint for Detroit, it makes a ton of sense because TM3's contract is better than what Duren's contract is going to be. And that's beneficial. So in this scenario, here's the rotation. It's Cade, Trey Murphy, Asar, Peyton Watson, Stu. That's one non-shooter and insane defense. Like insane. I get that Stu didn't have a good playoffs. I get that he's got temper issues. I get that he's smaller. Just see how it goes in this scenario.
By the way, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Well, you say you're by the way, because I'll get into my next bit of it all as well.
I just think, he's 6'8", but he's still one of the best shot blocking centers in the league. And with the length of Trey Murphy, Cade, Asar, and Peyton Watson, you're not going to be wanting for rebounds. You're not going to be wanting for lob threats.
You're not going to be wanting for passing lanes. Like passing lanes are blocked off. Like, and now you got 4 guys who can shoot. Like Stu showed he can shoot. TM3 we know can shoot and can create a little bit. I know people say can't create a ton, but I think he can create a little bit in this lineup. Asar's a great passer. Peyton Watson we saw create quite a bit. Now your bench second unit is Danis, Duncan, Javonte Green, Tobias, Paul Reed. So
pretty good.
How many non-shooters in that lineup?
One.
Who?
Oh, sorry, none.
None.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I was
literally,
gone, but he's gone. He's gone.
In your 10-man rotation, you have one non-shooter, and he's arguably the best defender in the league behind. Not arguably, he's the best defender in the league behind Victor Wembanyama. Then you still have Sasser, you still have Chancellor, you still have Tolu Smith, and you've got Chris Sanek Jr. on this team doing his thing. And you still have fucking Karis LeVert on top of it. Like
break glass in case of Karis, yeah.
Who's been good, who's been fine. So let's say they do this and it doesn't work out. They're like, wow, the center thing is a problem. Guess what? Now you can trade for a starting center at the trade deadline. Use that time to trade for a starting center, get somebody bigger if you have to do it. You have options in that regard. But at that point, not only are you under the first apron, you are under the luxury tax with those contracts. Not just for this year, for the following year. You are pretty inexpensive for what you want to do. You can get Asar on a contract like that. You'll have Cade making 54 next year. You have Asar making somewhere between 25 and 30 the year after that. You'll have on this contract, Peyton Watson making like 27, and you have Trey Murphy making 29, Tobias making 13. That your team is not expensive. You still have optionality moving forward, and you're very young. To me, moving on from Duren and just seeing if this Stu starting lineup works with the rest of this team while you develop a Chris Sanek Jr. to potentially be your starting stretch center of the future, while you still have enormous Tolu Smith on the roster, while you still have B-ball all-star Paul on this team, that's my faith. That's the risk worth. It'll take a lot. It would take the New Orleans Pelicans saying, yes, we want to do this deal. It would take Denver saying, yeah, we'll do this deal. It would take Javonte coming back and take I think Tobias would probably come back for 3 years on that deal, 3 for 40.
For sure he would.
That's pretty good for him. I would love to see it. Chat, let me know how you feel. If you think I'm crazy, I think to me that's my favorite of the deals we came up with. But the chance of it happening is like 0% because I don't think Trajan's going to trade Jalen Duren.
I like it. I think I like the 1B1 more as well.
Me too. It's more affordable. The better
that Trey Murphy contract is. I mean, he's an awesome player, but one of the best parts about him is the contract. Yeah. It's so good, and it's 3 years of it. That's pretty great. So
again, 6'6" or 6'8", however you want to judge Cade. 6'9" Trey Murphy, 6'6" Asar Thompson, 6'9" Peyton Watson, 6'9" Stu. So no one over 6'10", but a lot of real men.
Yeah.
All right.
Really good. I like it.
We want to go to Mickey's setup number 2. This one is wild, baby.
It is. I don't hate it. But it does involve trading Stu again. But it involves keeping this. By the way, who said it? Was it DM for it? Who said I was talking to Satan on this? Yeah. This one's real. This one's real nasty. This one's real.
The devil went down to Oklahoma.
Devil work. Yeah. So first, what we're gonna do. By the way, but the point of this is sort of hearing Trajan saying, "I intend to keep Asar and Duran, or at least re-sign them," and this is working around making both of them work on this team. So first, we are going to renounce everyone except for Duran. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah. Wait.
Or maybe not everyone. Are we keeping?
There's one thing you have to do first. I should have put this up there earlier. Start with this because this is the craziest one, and this will get people really on your side.
Well, maybe. So we're trading Stu and the 21st pick to the Golden State Warriors for pick 11. And who do you think we're taking at 11? Wolverine Yaxel. We're getting some Yaks, and we're throwing him in the starting lineup, starting for Yaxel. They need Kristaps is a free agent. I think an unrestricted free agent. They need youth, and they need a center, and they need someone who's going to play. By the way, I think this one's exciting just for the notion of Draymond Green and Isaiah Stewart on the same lineup alone. That is madness. So that's the first one right there. Then what we're going to do, we're going to get Wu. We're going to get Wu for 2, vet minimum, Javonte Green. Another trade coming up. Karras and a future first for Ty Jerome. Saw that mocked. I don't know if it's realistic, but we're going to do it.
I mean, so Ty Jerome, he's probably available to give a first for a rebuilding team, especially in exchange for an expiring contract especially because Ty Jerome is not as available as he could potentially be available.
But just so you guys know, Ty Jerome isn't starting because we are going to sign a free agent. We're going to sign. This is a name that came up on the Game Theory podcast. Just saying, I'm not crazy here. Austin Reeves. We are going to give him, in the first year, we're going to give him $38 million. In the second year, we're going to give him 42. Third, 44. Fourth, $46 million.
I think that's 170. To do that, also, we had to cut ties with Duncan Robinson. So Duncan's off the team. We're still carrying $2 million in dead cap.
Sorry, bud. We got Ty Jerome in to be our backup shooting guard, which is crazy. Dean Wade, we're going to give him $20 million over 2 years. And then we're bringing back Tobias on the mid-level exception for 2 years. So what is that? Just under the full mid-level exception. So where does that leave us? Cade, Austin Reeves, Asar Thompson, Yaxel, Duran, Danis, Ty Jerome, Ron, Tobias, Paul Reed. Talk to me. Do you hate it? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Do you think Yaxel can start? Do you think that's too many guards who need the ball in their hands, or do you love all the creation? How do you feel about this, Harry? You think it's bonkers, don't you?
I think it's crazy. But I don't hate it. Here, the part I don't love about it is how expensive the team is in the following year.
Oh, yeah, we become a first apron team. Once you have
potentially
to
a
pay
second
Asar.
apron team.
Really?
Yeah, potentially a second apron team as things
depending on how much Asar makes.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot. But and also we're really shifting.
Oh, did I say what the Duran contract was? I don't know if I said what the Duran contract was for the folks at home. It's
3 by 105.
3-105. So that's, I don't know. I think that's like what he wants.
It makes him a tradable contract too, which
right
there is that. So that you see how this all looks. What I love about it is the scoring is insane. Oh, gee, just stop poo-pooing on literally everything.
No, I thought about this, though. Well, you want to talk about poo-pooing is Austin Reeves poo-poos Detroit. But if they're not willing to offer him that, I don't know that that's true.
He did say later that he would go to Detroit if they offered him the money. So like it's not like it's
Oh,
completely out
I
of
didn't hear that. But no, I think that's a fair point though.
it's just so fun. So I get that these plans all have flaws and they all have like unlikelihoods. That's what your front office and these agents are in charge of handling, right? These are money wise, these are scenarios. These are scenarios that can work out. Here's what I like about this. I feel like Gorez wants to have a team worth overpaying for.
I think
100%
you're right.
true. 100%
That's a
true.
great point.
He wants to have a team worth looking into the glass table for, the mirror table for, and off the pizza box if you're the kid. So in your starting lineup, Cade, Reeves, Assard, Yaxel, Duran. 4 of those guys are offensive nuts, which I love. Yeah, Yaxel's great. Like he really is great, and he's enormous. 6'10" without shoes on. Shoots the 3, rebounds the ball, dribbles passes well, plays defense. He's a champion. He's like a year younger than Cade. Love it.
By the way, Reeves is a cone. Reeves is going to get targeted on defense. Oh, yeah. He's the only one in that lineup, I think. And also, I love the passing. As annoying, and he gets to the line. Maybe that won't happen in Detroit.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Maybe that goes away. Maybe he stops getting that friendly Laker whistle. But the passing is really good, it's a pretty good. I see to me it's like Devin Booker light, you know.
Yeah, it's better 3-point shooting,
defense.
Honestly,
and worse defense.
And worse defense. This is a shift from like the heavily defensive focused team to a team that can just score more with some defensive talent on it. Second line, Danis, Ty Jerome, Ron, Tobias, Reed. We've talked about it. That's even more scoring. It's nuts with a little more creation. Like I love Duncan. He's a great 3-point shooter too. Ty Jerome offers a little more creation, self-creation for himself.
Only half 2K. Yeah, I mean, look, we had to get a little weird with it, but this was my version of keeping Asar and Duran. So I think there's a little bit of realism there. I think the Warriors trade has some realism to it. The Reeves thing is a question mark, but if they are determined to bring back LeBron and have a better center, and Austin Reeves came up was a liability in the playoffs, it's a conversation. Number 2 guy.
Doc says this is the summer for Trajan. He's got to earn the salary this year. We'll give him until the deadline next year. Yeah, this is an important one for him. Hopefully he watches this podcast and he tries to finagle our crazy unlikely trade scenarios.
He doesn't just watch; he likes, he subscribes, he rings that little bell for notifications. We forgot to pimp the pod last week, so we're really selling it. All right, we've heard it. Everyone's saying I'm doing 2K stuff. They're saying I'm lusting after Lakers. Everybody's dogging me.
I don't think it's that crazy. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's that crazy. You make your
I'm not
to get the guy.
I'm not honestly that nuts about Austin Reeves just as a player or a guy in general, but I am just trying to think about fit.
Offensively, it's a huge fit
and creation and just being a release valve for Cade. Because by the way, as much as I love Peyton Watson and Trey Murphy, and I don't know that you get that with either of those guys.
Yeah.
It's like different. In terms of the playmaking load. I do think Peyton could grow, but you're betting that he's going to grow, and Asar too, but his handle's not that amazing.
The other thing about Austin Reeves is like, we already saw that it works with Luka, right? It works with Luka and LeBron pretty well.
Yeah.
Cade ain't that dissimilar, except he plays defense. So
yeah,
there is that. I before I get into my next one, I do want to say I did consider a Kawhi Leonard one, which Mickey was not for. Mickey's a sideline Laker fan as well, and Clipper fan. LA, Mike. How dare me?
For shame. We were talking. You had Lakers on the brain. Lakers on the brain. I think Kawhi is incredible. I just think if he goes down, you're so fucked.
Right.
And he's gone down a bunch, and he's only getting older.
I also don't know how happy he'd be to come to Detroit.
That's a huge factor. He's from LA. He wants to be in LA. I would sooner have LeBron here than Kawhi personally.
LeBron is another person that I looked into, and I actually think LeBron is like a realistic
The fit
a
makes
landing spot.
sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I would highly consider it. Mark Curry says, "Heyo, sorry I'm late. Oh wait, it's Io. All aboard the Io train."
We talked about it.
We love
love
Io.
it.
We love Io. Minnesota's front office has gone out and said that their number one free agent priority is Io DeSunmu. So I don't think he's leaving. I would love if he came to Detroit. I just don't know how to make it work. For like what price, what way it would go down.
They need a guard next to Ant, especially if Dante's going to take a little while to come back. I would be stunned if they let him walk.
Right. Ibrahim says no Kawhi, no Kyrie. They're washed and too volatile. I don't think either player is washed. I do think that they are old,
injury prone.
Yeah. Pride of Detroit says Kawhi take that risk, and he is blocked. Mark Carey says, why would he stay in the West? Why would he stay in the West? Because Minnesota was somewhat competitive against the Spurs with an injured Ant, with no Dante DiVincenzo, and with no Io DeSunmu.
They've got a good draft pick. They've got potentially Ben Math. They've got John Collins. Darius Garland is there now. Yeah. And again, I also just don't think he cares. Like, I don't think he wants to leave LA.
Well, I was talking about
I was talking about those Clippers.
You were talking about the Clippers. I was talking about Io. Why would Io want to stay West with Minnesota?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Kawhi.
No.
Sorry. Why would he want to stay? Okay, good point.
Kawhi would get traded without whether or not he wants. Yeah, I know I won't do it. So now let's go quick to OG. He says that if you want a more realistic Denver trade, would you guys want Cam Johnson for cheap assets to allow them to re-sign Watson if they refuse to sign and trade Watson? Yeah, I would consider it.
Here's the cheap, I think it's a good,
absolutely, I would consider it. He's $23 million expiring, which is great. Shoots the three, great, which is what you want. You know, if you're doing a trade for him, that's something you could also, in that same vein, you could try to pay in free agency. And I know he didn't make it on here, but Mickey and I both did try to finagle in a Rui Hachimura signing. Rui's been great from three on volume. He's been great from three in the playoffs, and he's going to be an unrestricted free agent this year. So that's another avenue, another person to consider. Neither one of those guys has great defense, like straight up.
No, but you could go Rui, and you talked about trying to trade for Drew.
Yeah,
you know, so that's not, you know, he's getting up there as well.
I would love Drew. That trade is complicated just because of money. But if, like, let's say your starting five is Cade, Drew, Asar, Rui, Duran, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. That's something I would consider. I'd consider doing. Ian McCullough says, I want Draymond and Isaiah Stewart in Detroit because that would be trade cinema. It would be something. It would be a podcast.
Tag team.
Yeah. Tag team. It'd be like there'd be so many clips of the Bash Brothers from the D2 Mighty Ducks going in there. Mark Carey says, I meant Io and Mini.
The
West runs through OKC, San Antonio Spurs, Denver, Los Angeles Lakers for the foreseeable future. I disagree about Denver and Los Angeles. Like, straight up, I think Denver's got to figure it out, because people love Denver, and Denver looked awful in the playoffs. Straight, when you have the defense as bad as they do, it's just not going to work. Many will struggle to reach single finals in the next 5 years. I disagree. I completely didn't. Minnesota went to the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years. They were competitive with the Spurs this year with an injured, ailing roster. I think Minnesota is a desirable place to be. And when the expansion comes, Minnesota can also move to the East. They're one of the finals for it. OG is a certified Rui hater, so he's out on Rui. Why are you out on Rui but not Cam Johnson, I guess, is my question. But they are assets, they are targets to get. If you get LeBron, if you could get LeBron for 25 mil, I'd be so stoked. Like, I'd be so stoked.
You think he'd do that? You think he'd move to Detroit for 25 million? But bear in mind, this is a billionaire.
Maybe. Detroit's a great city.
He doesn't need the money, but I'm just saying, I think I could see him taking a cheaper deal. Why wouldn't he just stay in LA for that money?
I think he's going to stay in LA. And the reason he wouldn't stay in LA for that money is because LA wouldn't want to sign him. That would be the situation where it looks. The OKC and San Antonio looked dominant for a while, but Minnesota's right up there. Here's another thing I want to say, because if they're so dominant, then what's the point of Detroit even trying to like make a contender? Here's why. Injuries happen. Teams get better as things go down. The salary restrictions happen. When was the last time a team won back-to-back? OKC has a chance to do that. Over the last like 20 or 30 years, it's only happened single-digit times. It's not guaranteed to go that way. Mark says,
I just want to say one thing too about the Timberwolves is I think during the regular season, I don't take them that seriously. I think we beat them a bunch. They turn it on in the playoffs.
Always.
They are one of those teams that steps up big time, and they are playoff risers. And if you don't agree, you're not watching enough. You think OG Unnamed thinks that Rui is dumb as a box of rocks. Okay.
Cam is a much smarter player. That if that's true, then I'm not so into the Rui idea either. But I don't know him well enough. I don't know enough about his game. I know the 3-point element of it is ideal, and I do think if you can trade with Denver for like cheap assets to like let's say you trade him Karis LeVert, that saves them about $8 million straight up. That if that's helpful, great. I'm down for it. I'm not opposed to Cam Johnson being on this team. I think it'd be very helpful at the 4 position. The 3-point shooting would be so helpful. Okay, Mickey, I love your crazy ones because they're not out of this world. They're not unreal. They're just not the direction that We're
role Playjan.
We're role Playjan. All right.
What do you got, Harry?
This is my final one. I don't go crazy with the money. This one's also under the cap. I don't think anyone's going to love this one, but he starts with the imagination. I don't love it. I think this one makes us a little bit better. I actually do like the Drew Holiday idea better. I just didn't get a chance to like really work it out ahead of time to see how much it would work. I was a little bit strapped for time to get this one to work, and this one does work. Much simpler. In this, the first thing is draft Bennett Sturts. Once again, draft Bennett Sturts. I'm for it. I'm here to in this situation, it's most important to draft him. In many situations, I'm cool with. Here are my thoughts on the other guys: Kareem Lopez and Joshua Jefferson in the 4 position. If you're looking for your 4 of the future, and you don't want to trade up to get Yaks. Those 2 guys are options. Kareem Lopez is a 19-year-old playing in a professional basketball league. He's very strong. He's showing potential as a 3-and-D type player. He plays with a lot of energy. Defense needs some refinement. But again, 19 years old playing in a professional league, very strong kid. I'm for that. Joshua Jefferson, huge dude. Absolutely enormous. Incredibly slow, not incredibly athletic, not an incredibly explosive scorer, but the playmaking's insane. He's so fucking smart. He rebounds the ball. He does dirty work sort of stuff. As far as 4s go, I can't ask for much more than that drafting the position. If Cam Carr lands there, 3-and-D wing, sign me up. Sign me up yesterday. I'm all for it. I don't think there's any chance he gets by Toronto.
Trade up. Trade up.
It just I don't think it's happening. Like the scrimmage results from him at the combine blew everything out of the water. So I think the chance of him slipping in a wing dry class is very unlikely. Bennett Sturts is my guy here at this point. I like him more than Christian Anderson. I think he can bring more to the table almost immediately. And like, I think he's got great footwork. When you watch him like get to a shooting position, he pulls up quick. His feet are always in the right spot. He can shoot from a lot of places. Again, the finishing at the rim is something that I'm just like super in on. Like super, super, super duper in on. And this team struggles with turnovers. The dude doesn't turn the ball over. That's all a big win for me. And Senick Jr., again, project. Stretch big project. If you want to go that way, go that way. Ian McCullough says Beasley and Robinson show the excellent shooters are available and affordable. Beasley is available, but he ain't coming back
overseas,
to the NBA.
Overseas, yeah.
I think he got cut by his Puerto Rico team. So
really?
Like, I think so. So there's that. Robinson is already on this team. He was one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. I just a great signing to have him be there. And they are available. They are out there shooters wise. But Robinson was a little bit of reliability on defense. Not a crazy liability, a little bit of liability. I did think Tobias Harris was a serious liability on defense. He got so hunted in this last playoffs. So hunted. And I felt terrible about it because I love Unk. This shirt is another Unk-inspired shirt. I'm all about it.
Fashion inspo for Harry.
This is my first don't bring Unk back idea.
Yeah.
It's
both of mine involved bringing Unk back, I believe.
And my 1A, 1B did as well. We have a lot of bring Tobias back. Like, he's important. I think it's great bringing players back for all this sort of stuff. In this case, I'm not doing it because of two changes that could potentially be talent upgrades at the 4. Robinson's defense won't seem so bad off the bench. I agree. That's why he's sticking around in this one. Also because his 3-point shooting is so awesome. And I know people aren't going to like this one from me out there, but draft Bennett Sturts. That's plan number 1 at 21. Step number 2, lure Andrew Wiggins away from Miami and turning down his player option of $30 million with a 3 for $75 deal in Detroit with a starting role playing next to Cade Cunningham, potential championship team here. 3 for $75. If you want to get Wiggins, who shot the 3 ball well, I might add. Two-way player. He averages, I think, over a block and a steal a game. That's important. You have to offer him more money to turn down that 30-year guaranteed deal. This gives him guaranteed money for several years as he gets up there in age. So there's that. Then the next plan for me is to sign Duren to a 3-year, 112 deal. So that would be 35, 37, 39, 3 years. That's all I can lock in on for this. Because again, I want to be able to trade him if I have to. And the money's not like crazy. Plus I'm going to be straight up. My priority is to bring Asar back because I think he's that important to this team. I think he's that special. And I think it matters a hell of a lot. Then here's my last move, and I've hinted at this over the year. A player that I really like is to use the trade exception to bring Jalen Williams, J-Will, not J-Dub, but J-Will, the power forward from Oklahoma City, who's also going to be running into cap problems. Give them the trade exception. That way they get to save some money, maybe give them some picks, what they need for it. And here's everybody who's gone on this team. No more Tobias Harris. No more Javonte Green. No more Kevin Hurd. No more Wendell Moore. They're all out ski. And so now your rotation is Cade Cunningham, starting Bennett Sturts as well, who is a defensive liability, I'll admit. You can start Duncan to start if you want. I just think Bennett Sturts is a better ball handler. You can start Danish Jenkins if you want, because Danish plays hard defense. Asar Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Jalen Duren. Either way, you're going to get either better ball handling in your starting lineup or better defense in your starting lineup. And you improve the 3-point shooting with Wiggins over Tobias. Sorry, Tobias. I like Wiggins a lot. I've always liked Wiggins a lot. I know people complain about his motor, but the dude played through his dad dying, and he's just a private person.
He's a good player. And by the way, J-Will shooting 38% from deep this past season
on 4. I mean, he lit us up when he played us. I loved him when he was in the Arizona Razorback, dude. Like, and he draws charges. I think given a bigger role, he'll play a little bit more. He'll show up. And then your second unit is Danis, Duncan, Ron, J-Will, Stu. So that is one non-shooter in your second unit. Danis shoots the 3. Duncan shoots the 3. J-Will shoots the 3. Stu shoots the 3. The shooting is way up on this team when you pull off an idea like that. This seems like somewhat reasonable. You still don't get your second star by any stretch, but you have some hope that maybe Bennett Sturts can be a guy like that. Maybe Bennett Sturts can be a guy like Austin Reeves as far as like balling out goes. We'll see. It's a risk you take. Wiggins isn't a star, but Wiggins is an option. Like, Wiggins can do a lot of stuff. OG once again poo-pooing on the idea OKC has less cap problems and more roster spot issues. I think most available play in OKC is Dort. Just my read. AI could be wrong, so not as much of a poo-poo. I could be wrong. I get it. I, not AI. Could be wrong. I agree. Dort's probably on the way out. But they also have like a ton of draft picks. They're gonna potentially try to bring back what's it called? Hartenstein is my guess. They have a lot of roster situation to deal with. This is an option to be like, hey, here's some stuff. Get off this guy. You don't have to worry about shit in that department. Also, he's not playing a ton for them. He played like 10 minutes in one of their games in the playoff. They've got spots.
So is he coming off the bench for you?
Yeah, he's my backup for in this situation.
Yeah. Okay.
And like, you know, who knows how that could go in the future. He can also play some small ball center on top of it. So like your center rotation's pretty good. Your big rotation's pretty good. Again, you're not wowing anybody, but I do think the team is better. You do have some optionality moving forward. And you can see maybe Sturridge is this guy. And again, Duran's on a tradable contract. So if you have to move off of him, you can move off of him. Same thing happens. We floated the Drew Holiday idea, which would be great. Here's the question I want to ask the chat, because that's where we're at right now. One, do you like any of the ideas that Mickey and I came up with as far as like, hey, I think this is like a real play forward? I will say this straight up. All of these moves that we did, roster-wise, in order-wise, contract-wise, work. They all fit the rules. They all work. They're all potentially realistic in a vacuum. The other question I want to know is, what second star do you want to see come to Detroit? There's so much talk about a second star coming to Detroit. Who do you want it to be? The reason we don't have MPJ in there is because fuck MPJ. The reason that we don't have Larry in there, we tried. we legit.
Yeah, I tried to wedge him into my Miles Turner situation, and then the depth was completely screwed, and it was not good.
It's so tough. It's so tough to make it work. I do think it's possible that that Utah could move on from Larry because they have the number 2 pick, right? All signs are pointing to AJ DeBonsa going number 1 to Washington. Here are the 2 scenarios I could see them moving on from Larry. One, they want to trade up and get DeBonsa from Washington. Washington will consider it if they get more picks and stuff. So you offer them some picks, some incentive for Laurie. You're like, here's this. Now you can trade up and get AJ. The other option is if Utah really likes Cam Boozer more than they like Darren Peterson at number 2, which is a possibility because Carlos Boozer is a scout there. Also, Cam Boozer's a fucking stud. He's like a baller. So there is that potential. And there's also all the medical stuff with Darren Peterson that Lord knows what's up with that. I mean, they could go after Caleb Wilson too, I suppose. But one way or another, that means that if it's not Darren Peterson, the other 2 options are front court players. So you just traded for JJJ. You have Walker Kessler. Are you really going to keep Larry in that situation? Like, stay that expensive?
Yeah, Ace Bailey, Cody Williams. It's a lot of wings, a lot of forwards. Yes. You know, it's Walter. You said Walter Kessler or Walker Kessler? Walker Kessler. Yeah. Yeah.
There are
Filipowski. They have Filipowski still.
No, yeah. Shout out OG. You're also. I do want to say OG is one of the best. You're one of the best commenters. You're one of my favorite people to be in the chats and stuff. I love seeing you around in there. And he says, I like your plans. Just too many moving parts to be truly realistic. I think the 100 million sign and trade is the big is big off season. Yeah, I get it. Unrealistic. Yes. Possible. How about that?
Do you guys think Duran is gonna get signed and traded? I'm just curious if that's something you guys think is gonna happen.
Yeah. So tell us, do you think Duran will get signed and traded? And also, like, what again? I do want to know what free agents you guys want.
Oh! Mark brought up a name I really like, which is Keegan. That he does seem like a guy that they're actually pretty resistant to trade, but it was just him and Neek that they said were off limits. But
I mean, Keegan's on that wild contract right now. They still have their whole roster, whatever the fuck it is, and Keegan's going through another surgery, I believe. He's doing.
Oh yeah, that is the thing. He is oft hurt.
Yeah,
he is injury prone. So that's not great.
Mark says that Detroit never needs stars; they need that guy. So Io, I would love Io if they can pry Io from Minnesota. I'd be fucking thrilled.
100%. The only reason we didn't try to pursue him is because Minnesota has said that that's their number one priority.
Yeah.
And with Mike Conley aging and whatever's going on with Dante's health, I believe that they would try. He makes sense.
Yeah. Mark says that
fits their identity.
He thinks Dern will be back. Richard says, I think sign and trade is possible depending on how much he wants. I think it's more likely he signs, though. I think that's also true. If he wants, like, if they're steadfast on like 40 million, you got to move past. You have to move on from that deal because that just destroys your future. It's so hard. OG says his most likely outcome and nightmare is they basically run it back again. That is a nightmare. I agree. It's an absolute nightmare. I really hope they don't do it, and especially because of what the playoffs showed. Like the playoffs didn't show like, hey, we have to get stronger. We can do that internally. I think the playoffs showed like we are really missing some parts here. Mark says the other guy he likes is still Keon. I like Keon. I like Keon a little less than I did after watching him play. I think he did play against Detroit like okay. But like watching him play in the playoffs, I was like, I don't know. Like I don't know how much I need this guy on the team.
I haven't seen anything from him that I've been like, oh, I have to have that guy.
Right. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind having him on this team.
It's just a little too theoretical for me. You know, just like he's not really making the playoff rotation. He played a little bit. And then just in their meetings, I didn't necessarily because his whole thing was 3-and-D and maybe it was just a reflection of the minutes he wasn't getting, but I didn't see much of either. So
OG brought up that like he liked the OKC deal, and he pointed out that Dort is another guy. Would you be in on Lou Dort?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Yes, the ultimate 3-and-D. Yeah, I think he fits the Pistons' identity. I mean, I do think he's a straight up bruiser and scary. But I think he fits for sure. Plus, I think we need guys who can do multiple things. I think we need guys who can knock down the three and play good defense. If you have him at the 2 next to Cade, and then you bring in if you signed Wiggins, for example, who can kind of create or like even make a play for like a Lowry. I mean, maybe that's too crazy, but I don't know. What do you guys think? My fear is you still need some more handling, some more creation. But yeah, I would like Dort.
So
what kind of contract do you think he's going to command?
Well, is he? I don't think he's a free agent. Let me see, like what.
So why do people think that he's on the chopping block at OKC?
Because they have to tighten up their roster.
Why would he be the piece that they would lose?
Because he's got the club option of 18 mil, so they could just move off.
Oh, okay. So they could just turn down his club option, and then he's what, a free agent?
Then yeah, he'd be a free agent.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Or they could sign him and trade him. But
by the way, your defensive concerns are. Hold on, let me look up his shooting numbers.
It's all over the place from 3. This year he was 34% in 5. So it's crazy, right? 34%. The year before that, 41.
Well, and from the field, it's 38.5%. So that's not good.
It's all over the place.
That's not his thing.
I don't know about Lou Dort. Like I'd consider it because the defense is great, but he's also.
Yeah, I also think he has a ton of value. I think you have to consider it because he has value, even if you don't want him.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, over his last 10 games, he's 48, 46, 100 from the free throw
line.
It's from the free throw line.
Over the free throw.
But 46.7 from. I mean, I don't know how many attempts that is, but
it's just. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think that's the immediate. You know, it reminds me of like when you were bringing up Herb Jones. You know, where I don't think that has anything to do with what we need right now. But I mean, I'm interested. That's interesting to me just because it's a good player. But I don't know. We don't need any more defensive specialists who can't shoot.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go down through some more of these names. OG says if Denver made Aaron Gordon available, Would you be interested?
Yeah. Power forwards are hard to find. He's part of a winning culture. I think
Shoot
my
the
big
three.
concern is injuries.
Yeah. So
Injuries and the defense isn't. I mean, is it that much better than Tobias? Maybe.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
He's a
Aaron
great.
Gordon.
he's
I
a
would
great
be, I would for sure be interested in him. I just thought that there was no way that Denver would let him go. But it's a tough position to fill.
Here's why Denver would let him go. He's expensive, and they're
on Peyton.
Yeah, and they want Peyton. So if that's their plan, here's Aaron Gordon's contract over the next 3 years: 31 or 32 essentially next year, 34 and a half after that, a 37 player option after that. He'll be 33 in that season. Aaron Gordon over the last 3 seasons played 73 games 2 seasons ago, played 51 games a season ago, and played 36 games last season.
It's all over the place.
It's declining. It gets fewer and fewer, right? Like 73, 51, 36. The
stock numbers are bad, by the way.
The stock numbers are bad, but the defense is good.
But the on ball and off ball,
he's a good defender. Also, the 3-point percentage last year 43.6 on 3 attempts. This year 38.9 on
39.
That's pretty good. I would consider it.
It's for sure worth considering.
It's a lot of money to take on for a player that you don't know is going
who's not the number 2, really.
Yeah,
he doesn't strike me as like the number 2 option.
He's not even available enough to be the number 2 option.
I also I kind of want younger guys.
Yeah.
I kind of want the number 2 option to be someone in their 20s or barely 30. Yeah. By the way, he is 30, so I'm not trying to say that he's not. But Wiggins, I like more.
Even though he's
Wiggins
older,
more.
He's available.
No, he's not. Wiggins is 27.
Wiggins is younger. Wiggins is only 27 years old.
He's 27. I've liked Wiggins for a while.
Me too.
Oh, sorry, that's Aaron Wiggins. I searched the wrong Wiggins. My bad. He's 31. He's 31. My bad. Yeah. You're right. He's 6. I still like him, and I know what I just said about.
Younger guys.
Someone younger, but I know what I said about these young men, but I do think Wiggins is a very capable player who would have a bigger role with us. What do you think about? Go ahead.
I was saying Mark says Magic dump Toby for Gordon. No thanks. Richard doesn't want dirty cheap shot artists, so he doesn't want Lou Dort. Lou Dort does do that.
I said he's a bruiser.
He's a bruiser. What else was I gonna say? I know there was more on here. Mark wanted to know if you can like teach taking charges. Yeah, but a player's got to have the want to do that. Excuse me. What about Kuminga? I don't want Kuminga because he's not like a great playmaker or a great 3-point shooter. I know he can score. He can definitely score. I think he fits Atlanta's system pretty good. And I also think Atlanta's probably going to bring him back, is my guess.
Okay, there's a name I'm going to bring up, and you guys can tell me this isn't realistic. And I just got to bring it up because the 3 ball has come around. Kind of. And never mind.
Say it.
I don't want this, but I was going to bring up Bam as your starting 4.
What would it cost?
It would cost a package of, 2 of Stu or Duran and Ron and a lot of picks. And the Karras is expiring. Stu or Duran, Ron, and probably like 3 to 4 picks. And his contract is nuts.
OG's got the inside track on people's inside track.
Yeah, he's got that IQ, the IQ details.
And we ain't talking about Quickly here. Quickly is another player I considered, but I don't. The contract's just like so much. It's so
okay. There's another name. I'm checking out his status. What about? He will be in the final. He'll be expiring end of next year. What do you think about RJ Barrett?
I'm considering it. Like truly, I would think about RJ Barrett. We talked about it a little bit. I think he showed up in the playoffs, which was great. Dude does a little bit of everything. He's not like a lights out 3-point shooter, but he can for sure.
No, he's not. No, he's not. But he's a creator. he can create for his teammates and for himself. So that's just, more so than like a Trey Murphy.
Yeah.
But a worse shooter. So there you go.
Well, I do gotta say the one thing that I love about the Trey Murphy idea, especially in the trading Duran for Trey Murphy, is you don't lose a lob threat because Trey Murphy is a friggin' lob threat.
As is Asar.
Yeah.
And I think Peyton Watson was also part of that plan too. So,
yeah. So like,
that's 3 lob threats that you have no shortage of lob threats. And also like, as great as that is for Cade to have lob threats, I think the idea of this team has been such a center focused team because that's the personnel we've had. Maybe that's not the best iteration of this team, is one that depends so heavily on the pick and roll, because that was pretty easy to cut off in the postseason.
Right. How many lobs did we see during in the postseason? Like
2?
I think 2. Richard said, how about Devin Booker and nearly $70 million a year? I can't believe I'm seeing people suggest him. People are suggesting him because they're not
the Michigan
about the
thing.
money.
It's just a Michigan thing.
On the real, the fit would be incredible if that money wasn't what that money is. But
yeah, it's not happening.
It's the reality.
Who's not discussed enough is Dylan the Villain.
He's not leaving. They're not giving him up, right?
Probably not.
I like him though. Okay,
I like him too.
I want to toss this name out to everybody too as a potential plan. This is another Utah trade. What if the Pistons tried to get Keontae George to be alongside Cade Cunningham? Keontae is about to go in for his extension. He's at $6 million right now. What do you think of that? Keontae gets a ton of free throws. He can shoot the 3. He's a ball handler creator, kind of a combo guard. Young guy, same timeline?
I think I would want a better shooter. He's not a terrible shooter or anything, but he's not. Let's see. No, it's been 33, 34, 37. So it's trending in the right direction.
37 on 7 attempts a game is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Gets to the line.
Why would they let him go? Because I thought he was kind of a piece of what they're doing.
If they draft Darren Peterson, they're about to be very expensive when he signs in, right? So you have.
But couldn't they? You think they have to start Darren?
They don't have to, but Darren's going to be coming in making a ton of money, and they probably will start Darren, is my guess. And they still have Ace Bailey, so they've got players. They also have Isaiah Collier, who could be their starting point guard to save some money. But money-wise, expensive Darren Peterson, expensive Keontae George, expensive Laurie, expensive JJJ, about to be expensive Walker Kessler.
OG unnamed YouTube user brings up if there's anything that could happen with Orlando just because of their disappointing season and problematic cap situation.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, there are guys who make sense. They're always hurt. Franz makes sense to me.
Does he?
Paolo makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, I know they're not the best.
Those guys can't shoot the 3.
Well, Franz kind of can against us, but I don't like the injury stuff.
Yeah.
That's my concern with it. And
I
feel the same. Anthony Black's hurt a lot. Go ahead.
Anthony Black is interesting. Also, up and down season, I think. Like an interesting player. He's going to demand the same salary that Suggs got, is my guess.
OG unnamed YouTube user wants to talk about this deep cut sneaky idea guy named Giannis. I don't even want to talk about it.
I skeeted it. I'm against it for so many reasons.
It's not the fit with Cade, and it would gut us completely. Mark Carey, John Collins. Yeah,
we discussed.
We talked about that off pod as like a potential guy to bring in. He's a UFA, I think. And
he's a UFA. The question is how much money, right?
Yeah.
And what?
I mean, he was making like 25 a year And his splits were nice this year.
They're
Splits were real nice. It's like 50, 40, 75 or something.
He's pretty good.
You get some positional versatility with him too. He's not the best defender, but he's athletic. He's definitely a lob threat. I like Anthony Black too, Mark. The shooting isn't great. Is it? Let me just double check that. Make sure I'm not talking out my ass.
It's up and down. Like the shooting is
33, 44, 33. I mean, it's just, you'd want him coming off the bench, and then what do we do with Danis and the money? And I don't know. And I definitely don't want Suggs for injury and shooting related reasons.
I think,
not saying he's not a gamer.
I think Anthony Black is going to cost Detroit too much to not be that good.
You know who's no one's brought up on this podcast, but has come up in a bunch of other Pistons conversations is Tyler Hero. And his contract is really pretty chill. It's not that crazy of a contract. The injuries I don't like, and the defense I don't like. How do you feel, Harry?
We have Duncan Robinson.
I mean, I don't think he's as much of a creator as Tyler Hero is, but I don't think Tyler Hero is that great of a creator.
It's not, to me, it's not like that much of an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade as far as that goes, but I don't think it's the type of move that moves the needle.
He's also expiring next year, so are you going to trade for a guy you're not going to extend?
Right. If you trade for him, essentially you're going to have to plan on extending him. It's what was so upsetting to me about this whole exercise was the amount of options that Detroit really has to go for a good fit on this team. It's not as many as you would think. I try to get as many 3-point shooters and ball handlers as possible. And 3-point shooters alone is a difficult thing. OG says, does Minnie keep both Jaden McDaniels and Randall? They're keeping Jaden for sure. And that's the contract I want to sign a star.
One of my favorite players in the league.
Mickey and I tried to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say we tried to finagle a potential J-Mac trade earlier this season before he really blew up, but he's a killer. And I don't really want Julius Randle on the team.
I forgot to mention this. I think I'm at a point where I would trade multiple picks. I actually think this could be I forgot to pitch this because we were going down so many. Harry had to help me so much and use all his Keith Smith wisdom. But I would trade multiple picks at this point I would overpay for Derek White to get Derek White on this team while his value is low and pair him with a Wiggins. I think if you have Derek White in the backcourt next to Cade with Asar, Andrew Wiggins, and whatever happens with Duren or doesn't happen with Duren, I think that help. And you want to talk about IQ? I think he's really smart. I think he's a really good defender. I think he can shoot most of the time. I think he would really benefit from a Cade. And I think I would rather overpay for him than really overpay for Jaylen Brown. And by the way, Derek White, once you overpay for him, that contract is chill.
Yeah, I'm down with the Derek White move. I think that'd be great. I'm not down with the Jaylen Brown move because even though I think Jaylen Brown's a great player, I think he's an incredible player. I think it's hilarious that he's saying all the shit that he's saying, not just about flops and foul calls, but also about his own front office.
What did he say about his front office?
He's on his stream talking about how they didn't want to start him and blah blah blah. They don't have a problem. It's so wild what's going on with him. But my issue with Jaylen Brown is I don't think he's a great playmaker. I think he's a great finisher. And
I agree.
He's a great ball handler, but I don't think he's a great passer. And he also doesn't get a great whistle. And he's very expensive. He also doesn't shoot the three ball crazy well.
He turns the ball over, and you need someone next to Cade who's going to take care of it.
Right. So great player. If we didn't have Cade Cunningham, different conversation. But we have Cade Cunningham. Mark Carey says Black can kind of guard play 1 through 3, which is nice. I agree. I don't think he's a bad player. I like him as a player. I don't think he's a consistent enough shooter to be worth the money he's going to demand if he came to Detroit. OG says the Spurs have too many guards. Would you be interested in trading for a backcourt or wing guard from them? Devin Vassell, maybe.
I like him.
Champagny.
I like Devin Vassell
Definitely.
a lot. Everyone could use a Champagny.
Yeah.
Pop it. Either Champagny, frankly. Pop it. I really like Devin Vassell. I think he'd be great. He's surprised me with some of his defensive plays.
Yeah.
And I think I really like that, actually.
I think the amount of, I think this team is going to look pretty different. I think the majority of the starting lineup is going to look like the second unit on this team, but I don't think it's going to be a ton of moves that make it happen. And I'm going to be sad to see some players go. I know we haven't mentioned like bringing back Kevin Huerter or like on here. I wouldn't be like upset if he came back. I would just be curious as to how he would come back to this team. So who knows? Who's to say? There's going to be so much speculation about what happens here. We have about a month until the draft. The draft, I believe, is in a month and a few days. And then the 30th is when free agency begins to go down. So we'll see how that works. So we're going to have about, I don't know, 4 more podcasts before that happens. We'll try to get some guests on. If there are players that you really want to talk about, add us on Blue Sky. Be like, here's a player I want to hear more about. Do we think it's realistic? We will make an effort to get a guest to talk about said player. We're also going to get, hopefully we'll get somebody to talk about the draft from potentially No Ceilings. I would love to get Bryce back on the show to talk about some of the guys that he's into, some of the guys he's not into, see how he feels about them, see how he feels about the direction of this team. Again, you can go check out on the Game Theory and listen to Pistons Pulse to know more about that. And other than that, I mean, this has been a long show. We're 2 hours in here right now.
Yeah, baby.
Going over some serious plans here. Maybe some of the stuff that we talked about goes through. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Maybe they hire us into the front office. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it all goes.
Yeah, I think they just like to hire people who spitball and just kick names around. It's like that thing that no one else can do. No one else in the world can possibly do what we do.
I gotta go to that Bobby Marks front office school, dog, in Vegas. Figure it all out. Which actually does.
Hey, I kind of like Jaden McDaniels. What do you guys think about that?
I do want to shout out that front office school because I think it could be fucking cool in general. But it's something to look into. Again, shout out Keith Smith because I believe he's one of the teachers in that whole thing.
Cool.
But chat, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for like giving your feedback, for talking about your players. Again, if there are scenarios you want to talk about more, let us know. Hit us up on Blue Sky. Stay in the chat. Tell your friends about this whole thing. Like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. We know you have. We're there with you. I hope you had a good season. I hope you can take the positives that were the season, because this was a fun season. This was a great season. This was a wonderful time. We had some amazing games. We had some amazing times. We had some amazing throws. We won a playoff series. And by we, of course, I mean the team, not us. But like,
I did it. I won. I beat the Magic. I can't count how many times I've just said to Harry, like, what a gift this season has been, just at multiple points throughout. It's been so fun. There have been literally stretches where I was just like, why would the Pistons lose? Why would the Pistons lose this game? Crazy. You know, and sometimes they did, but not more than 22 times in the regular season. It's pretty crazy.
Do you want to close on just, it doesn't have to be your favorite moment, but one of your favorite moments of the Pistons season?
The streak was pretty tight.
The streak was tight.
What was it? 13?
I think either 13 or 14, but like
13 or 14, something like that. That was really, really cool. That was, just, this isn't, because I think we're still so, there was a period of imposter syndrome, even it was just like, is this real? And it was real. It was real. And I mean, I just still think getting out of the first round is incredible. What's a moment you are going to point to?
So within that streak, the Danis Jenkins buzzer beater on the inbound pass from Cade Cunningham when 90% of the team in DC, when 90% of the team was Ian says the Dana's buzzer beater, 90%
Yeah.
of the team. CJ McCollum going off for 50 points, right? Just like another name to monitor.
Remember Cam Whitmore in that game?
Oh my
Like
God!
standing over Cade. Yeah.
About that asshole.
The before after on Cam Whitmore from the that
so
was
clutch,
awesome.
incredible
Great moment.
And then and I hate to say this because they're the team that I would like to win the finals that's left the most, but the Pistons the third beatdown of the New York Knicks was
the
so
Knicks games were great.
Clutch. OG says for me it's a Stars defensive highlight reel without a doubt. Like again, that's my
Incredible.
guy. A Stars my guy.
Shit.
I still think it's crazy to consider moving off him instead of off Duran, as much as I like Duran, but that's nonetheless the case. Is Cam Whitmore still in the NBA? Who knows, dog? Who knows what's up with him?
Who
don't know? Who don't know? He says he's kidding. It's very fun. All tongue in cheek. All right. Well, thanks for sticking around with us for so long. And thanks for being here for this whole chat. We're going to end the show the way we always do, which is by saying the acronym OOBH aloud, because that's how Horse would say it anyway. So, as always, I've been Harry.
And I'm Mickey.